Brick Convention is celebrating its 3 years now. We started in 2023. Since I started with this, we've done over 50 shows in the past 3 years in 26 states. But this is our first time to do Columbus, Ohio. We did shows past couple of years in Cleveland. So we've been, in this state, but not just in this city. I didn't play with Lego when I was a kid because where we come from in the Philippines, they're very expensive. However, when we migrated here in the States, our three sons, Lego was their favorite toy. So I actually got to build with them. I learned how to build with Lego. But in 1999, that changed the whole environment because Lego produced the very first Star Wars sets. And now, as you can see from my builds, I'm a big Star Wars fan, before I became a Lego fan. So we actually bought all of the sets that they produced during that time. However, I started as a collector and a builder. And in just a few months, I started getting annoyed or not hating, the very first Star Wars sets that Lego produced. That's because the Star Wars fan in me was telling me they lack detail. So imagine, the Millennium Falcon. The very first Millennium Falcon that Lego did, they repurposed the pieces from the UFO in the space theme that Lego produced. So imagine a flying saucer, you know, top those whole molds that they use for that particular UFO. They use them for the Millennium Falcon. They just changed the printing. So imagine, round piece. They put two prongs in front and then a cockpit on the side. Voila, it's your very first Millennium Falcon. But that's the thing that kind of stirred in me, the creativity, because Lego, unlike any other toy, if you don't like the features of a set, right, you have the freedom to actually change it to your liking. So my very first modification was the TIE Fighter. So imagine the TIE Fighter, two wings and a cockpit in the middle. The thing that I hated most with that particular set is that the connecting piece between the cockpit and the two wings was actually a molded piece from a castle set, a castle tower set. So that's my first change that I did. So my sons had the right pieces during that time, so I changed it so that it looks more Star Wars. But like they say, once you start on that path, you start looking at the other stuff and then start building. I remember our youngest son telling me, when they're playing all of these sets, well, Lego produced only starships, X-Wing, A-Wing, and so on, TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber during that time span. So he says, hey Papa, they have to land somewhere at some point. They cannot just be flying around. So we started creating a rebel base and an imperial base. And mind you, these were for play. Very rough, we used whatever colored bricks that they had in stock and just created, a rebel base and an imperial base, and so they could play. So that's the start of what you see now, creating scenes, from the Star Wars universe. The thing that I love the most is when attendees to the show come and they immediately recognize what the scene is all about. Because that tells me I actually captured that particular scene, perfectly. And even more so is the fact that this particular build, even Lego asked my permission to actually put it in the book. So that's a best-selling book that Lego had, and I built this back in 2012. The book was released in 2014, and there are uh, hundreds of attendees in these past shows that we've done who kind of, it's the first time that they see it, but it jogs their memory. It looks like, oh, why do I remember this? And once I mention it's in the book, that's where they pick it up and said, they go like say, oh, I have that book. That was already imagined. That's already like more than 10 years ago, but they still remember it. Young builders, and this is what I tell them when they ask me how can they build, to the same level that I'm at now. I say, keep on building, but you just have to pick your own spot. So Lego over the years have evolved into so many different themes. So it's just a matter of picking, the right theme that you love, and then go from there. I personally like Star Wars and also the botanicals, so I concentrate on that. But the way you level up is whenever you build, try to do better than your last build. You don't want to repeat that same design that you did before. Add a little bit more, stuff to it so that it stands out. So, level up, keep on building, and, try to concentrate on the theme that you love best.